Musta kayo lahat? Today we're gonna watch a video about life in Cebu and life in Manila. Saan ba mas maganda? Dito sa Manila o doon sa Cebu City? What do you think? Para sa akin? I'm not sure. Maganda dito sa Manila, kaso maganda din sa Cebu, diba? So why don't you leave me a comment and tell me where would you prefer to live, in Manila or Cebu? Daily life in Manila versus Cebu City in 6 minutes.
Two of the largest and most famous cities in the Philippines are Manila and Cebu City. And even though they obviously have a lot of similarities, they also have quite a few differences. Here are 7 major ones.
Okay, so we're gonna see basically 7 major differences between Cebu City and Manila. So sana we can judge based on those criteria. Because I don't think so. That's too few.
Manila is located on the island of Luzon in the northern part of the Philippines and on the eastern shores of Manila Bay. The city is divided into 16 districts and the Pasig River runs right through the center of the city. Cebu City is located on the island of Cebu, more towards the center of the Philippines. It has a total of 80 different neighborhoods and is sandwiched between the sea to the south and the mountains to the north. Pollution.
Wait a second. I hear thunder outside. Okay, so both cities are very big. Of course, Manila is the biggest city, and Cebu is the second largest city in the Philippines. So, okay, all right. If you like a lot of people, stay in Manila. If you like it a little bit more relaxed, Cebu is definitely the city for you.
Pollution. Manila, unfortunately, has some of the worst pollution in the Philippines. The air pollution caused by cars, open dump sites, construction, and industrial waste affects 98% of the population of the city and contributes to more than 4,000 deaths per year. The Pasig River, which runs through the city, is one of the most polluted rivers in the world, with around 75 tons of industrial waste and 150 tons of domestic waste dumped into it daily. Luckily, there already are quite a few efforts to help clean up the river and the city as a whole, but they still have a long way to go. Cebu City doesn't have nearly the same pollution problems as Manila. Most of Cebu City's pollution problems come from the city's intense traffic, and they are implementing better emission testing on vehicles to hopefully combat the problem. In addition, though, air quality can even be affected by other countries. In 2019, Cebu City had unsafe levels of smog in the air that came from forest fires all the way from Indonesia on the island of Borneo. Luckily, the air cleared up after a couple of days.
Oo nga, sa Pasig River, we really need to clean it up. But the good thing is there's already a task force trying to clean up Pasig River, as well as there's the Estero Rangers who are cleaning up all the small esteros. So it's getting better definitely day by day. And in Cebu, of course, the pollution comes from smog in Indonesia, which is hard to do anything about. But of course, the cars in Cebu City could be cleaned up. So let's hope they'll do that in the future.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to control pollution problems in cities that have such dense populations. Speaking of population, Manila has a population of 1.7 million people based on the 2015 census.
I think there's a little problem here because in Manila, there's only 1.7 million people according to him. So that must be the City of Manila, hindi naman Metro Manila. Kasi Metro Manila, may siguro mga 15 million people or something like that, diba?
While that may seem like a low number when compared to other cities like New York, London, and Tokyo, Manila is actually the most densely populated city in the world as of 2019, as those 1.7 million people live in an area that's only 43 square kilometers, which amounts to 46,000 people per square kilometer.
That is only Manila City,
has a more modest population of 1 million, also based on the 2015 census. Unlike Manila, however, they have a much lower population density. The area of the city is 315 square kilometers, making the population density 2,900 people per square kilometer, meaning that Cebu City doesn't even break the top 60 world cities in terms of population density.
Okay, so basically there's a little bit of a problem here because at first he was comparing Metro Manila to Cebu City, tapos na yun, he's comparing just only the City of Manila to Cebu City. Dapat na, it's Metro Manila, diba?
As we both know, there are many more millions of people living in both of these two cities, but that also includes the metropolitan areas, and for now we want to focus on basically the city center. But these two cities combined have the same population as my whole country. What? Food.
That's at
Manila
Lithuania,
is the
no?
food capital of the Philippines, and you can find all sorts of great foods there, from street snacks to bakery items to full sit-down meals. Specialties of the Manila food scene include dishes like cheese ice cream, isok, vek-vek, helmets, fish balls, pansit mami, ensaymada, and of course, halo-halo. Cebu City also has their own unique food culture, where Manila is more influenced by Chinese cuisine. Cebu City has more of a Korean influence mixed with their own style. Popular foods in Cebu City include things like barbecued everything, mango pizza, puso rice, lechon, pochero, siomai, nigohong, and of course, putomaya. Public
Wait a second. Is that really true? Because I don't remember that. I think basically the food in the Philippines is mostly inspired by Chinese, Malaysian, Indonesian, and it's a fusion. We also got a lot of Spanish influence in our food here in the Philippines, right? So it's really a big mix. Now, of course, there's a lot of local foods. So that it's inspired by Korean, that one, I'm sorry, I don't think so. Maybe he's been eating at the Korean barbecue. Masarap doon din, no?
Public transportation. Manila has a public transportation system that is severely lacking, which has caused horrible traffic on the roads through the years as more people are forced to buy cars to get to where they need to be. Manila has a metro system, but it only has 3 lines and almost exclusively goes around the perimeter of the city.
That's absolutely true. There's a big problem, diba, with the transport here. The public transport is definitely lacking. No? Hopefully they are, doing something about it. We know that they're already making a lot more metro lines, MRT lines everywhere. But for me, it's really also a problem with the jeepneys, the buses, and all that. I really seriously don't like the buses and the jeepneys because of all the usok and the traffic they're causing. This definitely needs to be addressed somehow. Okay, so what's happening in Cebu? I want to see that.
Jeepneys, but they are not the most popular, especially since they help contribute to the major congestion on Manila's roads. Cebu City isn't that much better, unfortunately. Because of their smaller population, they don't face quite the same traffic as Manila, but they still have very congested roads and inadequate public transportation. There are buses and jeepneys that can sometimes be useful for short trips around the more popular areas of the city, but apart from that, the only other reliable ways for getting around are taxis, Grab, and habal-habal, which apparently are motorbike taxis.
He brought in the habal taxis. That's cute. That's funny. So, how come there's no metro system in Cebu City? That's kind of weird that it's lacking, no? There's no MRT or LRTs as far as I know, no?
Ooh, if I ever actually get a base somewhere around the world, I will definitely choose a place that has motorbike taxis. I really do think that's the best thing ever. And it's quite affordable as well. Jobs. Manila is the financial and economic capital of the Philippines and is emerging as a major tech startup hub in Southeast Asia, as many young, educated, English-speaking people are starting to get foreign investment in their companies. Currently, some of the most popular jobs in Manila are in IT, banking, service, and tourism sectors.
Oops, buddy, you forgot the call centers. The call centers, this is the most important thing right now.
Even though Cebu City isn't quite the same business behemoth as Manila, they have seen an increase in the number of new businesses in the last few years. Their most popular jobs are still in the hotel and tourism industries, but they've also seen a steady rise in the number of IT, engineering, accounting, and architectural jobs as well, making Cebu City an increasingly economically prosperous city. Attractions. There are obviously tons of things to see in Manila, and I could never list them all, but here are some of the most popular attractions. San Agustin Church, San Agustin Museum, Chinatown, the Manila Bay Walk, Fort Santiago, Rizal Park, Manila Cathedral, National Museum of Fine Arts, and Casa Manila. Cebu City also has a ton of attractions, but here's just a taste of the things to see there. The Cebu Heritage Monument, 1730 Jesuit House, Cebu Metropolitan Cathedral, Mountain View Nature Park, Basilica del Santo Niño, Crown Regency Sky Experience, Jumalon Butterfly Sanctuary, Tops Lookout, Taoist Temple, and you can even go diving with whale sharks in the ocean.
Wow. I really think he nailed it with all the attractions that we can see both here in Manila and in Cebu. Basically, those were the major ones. Well, maybe I would have put in a few more, like Rizal Park, of course. That is a major thing you gotta see. And Intramuros, I know he said the cathedral, but Intramuros as a whole would be one of the most important things to see when you're in Manila. And those he mentioned in Cebu, basically, those are also the best things to see. And I would definitely add San Pedro, the old fort there.
Apparently, even though these two cities are both in exactly the same country and they're both incredibly big, but they also have quite a few differences. Let me know what you thought about these differences in the comment section down below. If you have a different opinion, that's wonderful. Absolutely can't wait to read it.
Wow, that was a nice presentation of life in Manila and life in Cebu. I think he remembered almost everything. There might be a few things he forgot. There might be a few minor mistakes, but basically pretty good, not bad. Okay, I would have remembered to include Rizal Park in Manila and of course the Intramuros, the whole thing in Intramuros, and with Fort Santiago, of course. In Cebu, I would definitely have put in also San Pedro, the fort. It's beautiful, and it's a great place to spend a whole afternoon, and it's very near to City Hall. And the cross of Magellan, no? Which is at the cathedral. So those are a few of the things that I would have added on to. So whether you want to live in Cebu or you want to live in Manila, I think it really just depends on you. But they are very similar, although I do find Cebu to be more relaxed and a little bit more provincial, which can be really nice because it's not nearly as hectic as here in Metro Manila. Alright, so guys, why don't you leave me a comment below? Tell me, which city would you prefer to live in? Is it Manila or is it Cebu? Alright, thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click that subscribe button and of course the bell button so you'll be notified when we have new videos for you.